This video is about the plot pull-down menu, so let's take a look at it now. Many of the items on the plot menu we've already seen in the toolbars, but nevertheless, here's one that we haven't, called Title Caption Window. And what this does is, if we click on it, we'll be asked to enter a title caption for the interface window, which we're looking at now. And looking at the upper left-hand corner, we can see that it's really untitled at the moment. So let's title it with our favorite title, which is My Plot. And just either hit the OK or hit the Enter key. And as we see, the title has been changed from Untitled to My Plot at the top. Now, this is kind of important if you're going to capture screen snapshots, if you're going to print out this interface page and so forth. It doesn't change the file name, but nevertheless, it does identify the particular interface screen that you happen to be working with. So let's look at the plot menu again. The next one down is Configure Port, and we've seen this before. This is the configuration pull-down menu. This is also duplicated by the toolbar icon, which looks like a pencil. Clicking on the pencil icon will bring the configuration menu up as well. So anyway, there's another way of doing it again with the plot pull-down menu. So let's just click this off. Then we have Connected, Plot Data, Reset Plot, and Refresh Plot. Now these three here, Connected, Plot Data, and Reset Plot, are already covered on our toolbar items. But let's do it manually with the plot menu. Let's click on Plot Data, and we notice that our plot icon sinks in, which means we're ready to plot. And also our plot data box is checked. Let's click on Connected, which we should have done first. And connected means that we connected our COM port to MakerPlot, and that shows our two hands icon sunk in. And as we see, we're plotting data. If we come up to the plot menu again and click on Reset Plot, the plot will indeed reset. And once again, that's a duplicate of our pencil eraser icon where we can reset the plot at all times. So we'll let the plot continue a little bit. Matter of fact, what we're going to do is we're going to decrease the time scale by half. We'll decrease it to 60 seconds so that the plot occurs a little bit faster across the screen. And we are plotting right now 10 channels of analog data. They're sine waves in this case, and we're also plotting 8 channels of digital data. So we've covered now the connected, the plot data, the reset plot. Right now we're checked to reset based on max time. So what this means is that when the plot comes to the very end of the screen, it's going to reset and start all over again, which we'll let it do right now. There it went. Okay, so we reset based on time. The other choice is to reset based on max data points when not flushing. So what does this really mean? Well, if we come down here, we see another checkbox that says Flush Old Data Points, and below it is the flush amount, which is 25% at the moment. This means that when flushing is on, as it is now, we will allow up to 25% of that data to be flushed or dumped. That'll be the oldest 25%, and the newest 75% will maintain itself on the screen and will be replotted. Now, once again, we can come down here and change that to another value. Right now it's 25. We can change it to, let's say, 50. So let's change it to 50. And this will help us out in understanding the plot, other pieces of the plot menu later on. But here we are, flush amount is 50% now, so we've got that. The other features that we have here are stop at max and shift left at max. So let's click stop at max, Come back up here. Now stop at max is clicked. And once again, what will happen here is that when the plot comes to the far right end of the screen at maximum time, in this case, it will then stop. And all plotting will stop. And the reason for that is several-fold, and that is we can actually save our plot to a file. We can print the plot out, depending on how it's configured. Okay, there we are. We've stopped at max, and if we come back to the plot icon again, we notice that plot data is off. We're still connected, but plot data is off, and our plot toolbar icon is now not pressed in, meaning we have stopped plotting. So let's come back up here to plot and uncheck this. And let's do the next thing down, which is shift left at max. So let's do that. Let's click on shift left at max and let's start plotting again. Reset the plot. Here we go. And we're going to re-examine here left at max. And we have an automatic shift plot amount of 50%, meaning that half of the data will shift left by 50%. Again, we can change this anytime we want. Let's do it now. Let's change that to 25%. Okay. So now we're at 25% for our automatic shift plot amount. So that means when the plot comes to the end of the time frame here, we're going to shift left, and it's going to shift left with 25% of the plot gone and 75% left. So let's watch what happens. There it is. Now you'll notice also that the other parts of the plot at the left-hand side disappeared as well, because those are the parts that were the oldest parts of the data, so they were gone. So now we just keep on shifting the amount of data that happens to be on our screen. And also notice too that the time at the bottom, the time scale, is accumulating by 25% each time. We were at 90 seconds for a maximum, now we're at 105. And if we let it shift again, it's going to actually increase. So we can see that we're accumulating time as we go with our shift left at max click. So let's unclick it. Now it should begin to shift normally. All right, we're back to 60 seconds and our plot reset. And so that's really the feature that we're looking at in terms of shifting at max, or stopping at max and shifting left at max. Now let's look at the advanced settings. We have a thing where it says clear constant drawings and clear queue. These are things we'll get into when we get into interfaces with switches and dials and meters and so forth. Another set of data here, or checkboxes rather, are use binary data, number of bytes for binary data, and use a binary checksum. At the moment, we're sending all of our data in ASCII rather than binary, but there is the possibility that you can send raw binary data to MakerPlot, but you have to configure it correctly, and there are other references in our MakerPlot video series and also in our manuals that tell you how to do this specifically. Then the other ones are use special parse delimiter, and our special parse delimiter is there right now. Our parse delimiter is the standard one, which is a comma, which we place between all ASCII values, especially the analog and digital values. So those are the main features of the plot pull-down menu. There are also hotkeys or F keys that you can use to duplicate these particular choices. One of the important ones is F12 here, which is a reset plot. I'll just click on F12 right now, and you can reset the plot anytime just by clicking on F12. So once again, that's our plot menu. Those are the features you should be aware of in our basic plotting tutorial series. Some of the other ones we'll get into when we get into our Learn series and more advanced data plotting activities.